Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well and fabulous today. I am Samantha, I'm a therapist, and I'm doing a video every day for a year to get over my fear of public speaking and social anxiety. This is video number 104. So thank you for being here with me, and we're all in this together, and I'm in this with you as you walk down the path of Earth School, which is as hard or as easy as we want to make it. And it's funny because I didn't plan this, but I want to say that, reality is a shadow like this. So anytime you do something, your reality is going to reflect that right back to you. If you wave at it, it waves back. But you can't expect your reality to smile when you're frowning at it. And remember that you are creating this simulation every second of your day. And isn't that exciting? Every time I move, the shadow moves and it reflects me. And I promise if you practice this, you'll notice that when you start doing little experiments with yourself, you'll notice that what you've been thinking about deliberately will start to occur in some sort of way. And you can never predict how or when, really, but just have fun with it. Life is supposed to be fun. How often are you berating yourself and abusing yourself with your self-talk? That's one thing I wanted to address today. This mirror, the shadow over here, is only interacting with me because I'm interacting with it first. So you got to deliberately. It's not gonna wave back to me just with me not doing anything. See, it's just still. It's just reflecting me. So, but if I decide to wave, it waves back like this. You have to decide to wave at it. You have to decide to smile at it. You have to be deliberate and intentional with what you're thinking about and what you're saying to yourself. So, imagination creates everything. So you're doing it anyway throughout your day. You're doing it. You're complaining in your mind. You're berating yourself in your mind. A lot of people are like, man, that's a lot of work to, flip these switches and, change these thoughts and all these things. And I've always said it's way more hurtful and harmful and boring and annoying and just painful in general to stay the same. And in my mind, it takes a lot more energy to do that than it does to change everything around. And you have the power to do that. And you have to be intentional and deliberate with it. That's the only thing. We've been doing this our whole lives. We're just now aware of it. So when you become aware, that's when you have power. You can become aware that you're talking down to yourself. I can't say this enough. I know I've repeated myself so many times, but I'm going to continue to do that because we forget. We need repetition. The brain needs repetition. That's why I'm glad I'm doing a video every day, because you're going to have a collection of 365 videos by the end of this and more. There'll be way more. And so your self-talk is everything. How you're speaking to yourself shows how you think about yourself. It shows what you expect of yourself and about yourself. It shows what you expect that you're capable of, all of those things. So if you're constantly believing the BS, it's all lies. If you're believing the lies and not believing the truth of who you are, then you're leaking energy. It's just like energy leaks after energy leaks. And I think that's why we feel exhausted sometimes, because we're spending so much time on the negative or non-supportive thoughts, we could call them, versus supportive thoughts and supportive beliefs. We're not recognizing who we are. Remember, everything you say after I am is what you believe you are. And we are source. We are powerful. We are God. We are all of these things. And we have the power to create anything we want and turn any situation around that we want. And so there's two important things that I think are really two keys to everything are, of course, your inner conversations, how you speak to yourself, how you see yourself. And then the other one that I've always strived to do is years ago, I learned that being happy anyway was very important. Because I thought, now that I have these things that I want in certain areas, I'm still not very happy. Why is that? And I kind of studied that. And I studied other people. And I noticed that they weren't happy either. And they had everything. And then, throughout when I was a kid, I used to see all the magazines, because back then we had magazines. And we would see the celebrities in the magazines, and they'd be getting divorced and they'd be dealing with mental health issues. That was something that always surprised me, because you think, or at least I thought back then, this is when I was younger, of course, but you just think that if somebody looks like they have it all together, you just wonder, like, gosh, how are they not happy? I think that's the main thing. Like, how are they not happy when they have all these things? And it's because they've got those inner conversations going on that we have no idea what's happening inside them. Everyone's fighting a battle inside, and we just don't see it. It's invisible. And so we cover things up. We cover that up, I think. We cover up our unhappiness and the void that we experience in life with these external factors. And so you're therefore outsourcing your happiness and your fulfillment and your joy and bliss and abundance and all of it. You're outsourcing it to your external reality. You can never fill that void that you're experiencing with something external. It's all done internally. And when I learned that, I was like, wow, that is so cool. Okay, how do we do this? And so one of the most important things to do is, when you notice something's happening that you don't like, instead of complaining about it, because when we complain about something, we're actually acknowledging that that's true right now. We're acknowledging it's true. But instead of doing that, flip this around and describe this thing that's happening or not happening as the way that you want it to be. If it's not happening a certain way, start going into your mind and telling yourself, no, it's actually this way. No, I'm actually this way. And Abraham Hicks used to talk about this, about pre-paving. And so like you can do this a night before bed, you decide how your day's going to go. Like, you can do this step by step. Like, you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, today's going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be the best day of my life. It's going to be so exciting all day today. And then you get up and you're brushing your teeth or whatever, and you're like, man, my commute is going to be awesome today. I'm going to hit all the green lights and I'm going to get the best parking spot at work and whatever. And then you get there, and before you walk in, you're like, oh, I'm going to have the best day ever. All the emails that I have to answer are going to go through quickly, and we're going to have no issues today. You pre-pave every single event throughout your day. And you do that. You don't have to do this forever, but you train your mind to get happy anyway, because you're practicing happiness before the events happen. And you're training your reality to follow suit. You're commanding it by saying these things. So I find that to be very, very powerful when you're trying to shift your identity, because now you're identifying with happier, more supportive thoughts than the ones that are taking your energy away all day. Because when you're complaining, again, or you're noticing something is off or not the way that you want it, you're identifying with that in that moment. So what you want to do is just deny that is there, and you say, no, it is this way. Acknowledge internally. No, it's this way now. I am this now. I am blah, 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 whatever it is. You get to decide. And like I've said before, be outlandish. If you're 100% not believing in yourself, you got to start programming a different story in. You got to start telling a story that you've never told before. That is going to take practice. If you're over 40, let's say, or you're over 20, you've had some years in you. If you're over 60, over 50, it doesn't matter how old you are. If you've been around for a while and you've been through a divorce, or you've lost a child, there's a big event that can happen in life. You've lost a friend, you have loss in your life. Let's say you have grief and all these things. It can be really hard to program your mind sometimes, because you're dealing with all these opposing thoughts. But it is possible. You just have to start telling another story And you have to watch your definitions, watch what you're giving meaning to, watch the events in your life and say, what am I making this particular event, what am I making this mean about me? What am I defining this as? Am I saying that this is a horrible thing? Or am I saying that this is something that I'm going to use to grow from? Something like that. It's kind of, just switching the meaning of it feels different. It creates a different frequency. Our thoughts are frequency. Our thoughts are spells. Our thoughts are creating. They're everything. Our thoughts are so important. And your thoughts can generate your feelings. And so you want to create that new story that you're going to identify with, because that's going to become your new identity. This is who I am. Remember, I am is so important. Everything you say after I am is what is. So you've got to catch yourself. I know there are millions of you. I know millions are not going to watch this today, maybe someday. There's millions of you that do not like yourself, that you're berating yourself every day, that you don't feel good enough. And that's simply not the case. You've just identified with those beliefs. That's all that it is. You're conscious and aware of feeling that way and thinking that way so much that you believed it. A belief is a thought you just thought over and over and over, and you've just started to believe that. And it became this belief system with all these roots, and we got to rip up the roots. We got to plant new seeds. You're going to plant a seed every day. You're going to water it every day. Plant a new seed every single day. A seed would be a new affirmation for you or something like that. A new part of your story. I am this now. And you just tell yourself, that's what you are. That's what you are. That's my shoe. I'm not having a problem. That is my shoe. If you heard that. But yes, you just tell yourself a new story. Normally something like that would embarrass me. And I would have stopped the camera and, oh my God. No, I don't edit most of the time. I edit the beginning and the end. But you just have to get to a point where you say, I am great enough the way that I am. I'm perfect enough the way that I am. And the more you do that, the more you will see that you actually start to feel better about you. You start to actually like yourself. You actually start to love yourself. That is what is creating everything, is how you're feeling about yourself, what you're saying about yourself, what you're identifying with about yourself. What are you identifying as? If you're complaining about something, remember, you're noticing that it is this certain way that you don't want. That means you don't probably have it. And so however you would feel with said thing that you're wanting, or a person or event to happen or whatever, however you would feel, think about that. How would you feel if you had it or if it happened? How would you feel? Okay, now you've got to be that way now without it. You have to do that. And here's the kicker. Why would you not want to? You got to practice it. How would I feel if I had these things, and why on earth would I not want to practice those feelings now? Why would I deprive myself of that? And what's crazy, what's paradoxical about the whole thing is when you let go of the attachment to that thing or that person or event, whatever it is, then it comes in. It's crazy how it works like that. Because you haven't given it so much force. You're just allowing it to come in. Energy, cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. You can't push against something and be so connected to it and pushing at it. You got to release that resistance so it can come on in. And then you can identify with that at that point. And then you're aware of it, and here it is. You're conscious of it. There it is. Be conscious of it before it's there. Create knowings with no evidence. Create, I know this, even with no evidence. My evidence is that I'm feeling good. That's all you have to do, is generate that feeling of feeling good. My favorite feeling is excitement. I love to get excited about everything. I am the biggest dork when it comes to excitement. I get excited about my coffee. I get excited to get up in the morning. I had to train myself to do that through grief, through very difficult times that I've had in life that someday I'll talk about. I have had to train myself. All you have to do is train your brain. It is already trained and programmed a certain way. All you have to do is train it again, thought by thought, your dominant thoughts. You just pull those out. You say, okay, today I'm going to work with this dominant thought that I think all the time. I'm not good enough. Okay, number one, I think for everybody is I'm not good enough. That's a lot of people feel they're not good enough. Who said you're not good enough? Why are you believing that? Why are you identifying with that still? We've got to change the story. That's old you. That's 1.0 version of you. You want to be 2.0 version of you. You've got to decide who you're going to identify with today. And you might have those bad days where you're like, nope, I'm stuck in one again. That's okay. Don't dwell there. Don't even be there all day. Just be there for 5 minutes or 5 hours, if that helps you. And then put a time limit on it. Say, nope, this is it. Now I'm going to switch. You get to decide every second, and you can do it. You just have to train your brain to believe and expect the best for you, because you are everything. You need nothing because you are everything. Remember that. My feet are going numb. I've got to go. I'm kneeling on the floor. Just different camera angles today. We got to have the shadow next to me for the shot. So maybe tomorrow I'll be outside. I don't know. You guys are awesome. I believe in you. I'm with you every step of the way. You guys are amazing. Don't believe anything otherwise. And I will be back tomorrow. Bye.